Hi, Rob Dameron here again. Today we're going to talk about controlling your capitals. Now, a lot of times kids think, well, capital letters, I know that. That's elementary school stuff. But you'd be amazed at how many times you make mistakes when it comes to capital letters. For example, some common mistakes. Cities, capitalizing cities. States. Geographical areas. A lot of times people don't even capitalize their own cities. It's Christmas time now. It's holiday season. Christmas cards are coming. And I'm looking at these addresses, and people aren't capitalizing like Clinton Township or Macomb. You think that would be pretty common knowledge. But a lot of times it's not. Another more common error is directions. The only time you capitalize north, south, east, and west is it is referring to a geographical area. So if I want to say the South is beautiful this time of year, then that's fine. I can capitalize South. But if I'm given directions, I said, yeah, you got to head south on Linwood. Notice the street capitalized. On Linwood, and then see my brother Larry, and he's the one in the Ford, and you'll see him. It's up on blocks. Anyways, geographical regions are capitalized. If I say I'm heading up north this weekend, I'm referring to a geographical area. I'm heading up north. But again, if I'm saying I want to go north on I-75, that's not going to work. All right. Next is certainly you want to capitalize languages, religions. One common area of mistake is classes. When kids are writing down classes that they're going to take, or they're writing about a class, if it's a language class, certainly you're going to capitalize if you're taking English or Japanese or Spanish. But if you're taking history, if I'm in my history class, I am learning, etc., history is not capitalized unless it has a specific, and this is the probably the most important part to the rest of the capital lesson, is unless it has a specificity to it, then it certainly wouldn't be capitalized. So if this is History 101, now it's a specific history class. Now I would capitalize it. We all know that we capitalize days of the week and months, but what we do not capitalize are seasons. Now let's change that just to help you out. Do not capitalize. So if I'm writing about in the fall or the winter, the spring, and the summer, these words are not capitalized. The only time these are going to be capitalized if they're a specific event, like the fall harvest dance, the winter spectacular, the spring showcase, then I would capitalize them. But if I'm just referring to the fall, or it's a beautiful fall day, do not capitalize it. Another common mistake is capitalizing the word high school. Going back to the courses, like the history class, unless you're talking about a specific high school, it's going to be lowercase. So if I'm talking about Clintondale, now I have a specific high school, then I would capitalize it. Okay? Brand names. You always are going to capitalize brand names, but not their products. So I drive a Dodge truck. The brand is capitalized. Can you please pass me a Kleenex tissue? Okay? The brand, or the brand name is capitalized, but not the product. Oh, and on a side note, if somebody asked you, may I have a Kleenex, and you don't have that brand, you don't have a tissue. You don't have any, because they're asking you for a specific brand of tissue. So, just there on a side note. All right, moving on. If I have a professional rank, same rule applies. Unless there's a proper name that is included with that professional rank, it is not capitalized. So I went before the judge today about that bogus traffic violation, but if I went before Judge Joe Brown, now I'm going to capitalize judge and certainly the proper name. If I'm talking about our mayor, our former mayor was on TV the other night, but if I'm talking about specifically about him, Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick, etc., now I'm going to capitalize it. My uncle, and we'll get into a little more of this in a second. If I'm just talking about my uncle, but if I'm talking about Uncle Bill, then I'm going to capitalize uncle. Okay? So again, when you're taking a professional rank, it is not capitalized unless it is accompanied with the proper name. Next, and one that is also very common, error, mom, relatives, mom, dad, aunt, uncle. These can go either way. It's up to your discretion. You can capitalize them or you can leave them lowercase. If the only thing that you have to make sure you remember, so let's give you an example. So if I'm talking about mom and dad went to the party, or I have to call mom and dad, you know, it can be lowercase or I can say capital. That's fine as well. Here's the problem. The problem comes in with possession. When you are possessing, so if you're saying my mother or my dad, my uncle, you do not capitalize the family relationship. Okay? When you're indicating family relationship and you're using the possession of my, you do not capitalize it. Even if you say my Uncle Bill, even though we have a proper noun going with that, it's a family possession relationship, you do not capitalize it. Okay, the last bit about capitals is when you're talking about titles, important words of books, and again, this is pretty much review, I do not capitalize articles. So if I'm talking about a movie, a book, a TV show, I do not capitalize articles in the title. For example, unless they're the first letter. So if it's Gone with the Wind, I only want to capitalize these nouns. All right? This does not get capitalized. Okay? Let me give you another example. From literature, Romeo and Juliet. Notice that the article here is not capitalized. Excuse me. Songs or poems. Little malfunction. Rhapsody in Blue. Notice that in is not capitalized. Okay? So pretty basic, but a review nonetheless. So I hope this has been helpful for you.